Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is Pavithra Iyer. So today is the day 8 of 30 days video challenge, and for today's video I have chosen this Swiss Beauty eyeshadow palette review for you guys. So let's get started. Firstly, this is in the shade 08 and these are the beautiful colors this palette has. This retails for 229 rupees, but you always get it on discount, and here are the swatches of all the shades. As you can see, the shades are not smooth, they are very chalky and little bit powdery as well. So now let's see how it works on the eyelids. So for that I'm just starting with this Swiss Beauty concealer itself in the shade 05, and I'll just apply it all over my eyelids, blend it with the beauty blender. So I have review on this concealer as well. I'll link that in the I button if you want to check it out. And then next step, I'm using this first shade to set my concealer. So this works pretty good. I like the shade and how it blended on my eyelids, and it did like set my concealer. Then moving on, I used this orange shade. All the shades have lot of kickbacks on the pan, but that doesn't matter for me. So I'm just gonna be tapping off the excess and placing it on my crease. I'm gonna be blending it above my crease as well, just to check how it works. So I'm gonna be using all of my eyelid space. So I placed the color and blended it into my crease, and for the second step I packed and tested it whether it blends nicely. I should say it really blended very well, and it just melts nicely into our eyelids. So once I'm done blending this shade, I'll move on with the next one. I'm using this darker brown shade. It's kind of burnt orange mix. I'm placing it on my 1/3 of inner corner, and I'll blend it with the orange shade. So I like this shade as well. It blended nicely. It has this very good texture to it, and yeah, I really like these two shades so far. Moving on, I'm gonna be using same shade which I used earlier to set my concealer on my eyelids like this, and it blends nicely with our fingers as well. So yeah, once that is done, using this brown shade. So coming back to this shade, it is very powdery and it has a different texture which feels like mud almost, and it's very difficult to blend with other shades. It will not get along with any other eyeshadows. You cannot blend it nicely, that is what I felt. But I tried to do wing liner with it. It did take a lot of time to build that color and get that opaque color which is right on the palette. So then I just connected it with the crease shade and made sure it is blended with the crease shade. This was very like problematic or very difficult to blend. It didn't go very well with the other shades, that is what I meant. And so far this is how the eye look looks like. I'm not very happy with the brown shade. Now I'm cleaning up the edges, and then I'll move on with the rusty brown shade for my lower lashes, using this pencil brush to blend it nicely on my lower lashes. And then I'll be going with the same brown shade just to match up my wing liner, and I'll connect it with the wing. So overall for this particular eye look, I liked all the shades except the brown one. This was the shade which like almost ruined my eyeshadow, I would say, because it's that chalky and it will not blend with rest of the shades. But I managed to blend it really well. It takes very hard time to blend, and that's why I'm like not a very big fan of the brown shade. Also, all the shades which I used on the right eye didn't give me any fallouts. That is really good. And now once I'm done blending, this is how my eye look turned out. For now this is it. Let's move on with the other shades. So I'm gonna be using all the shades. So for that I'm like creating different eye looks on my different eyelids. So next step, using this purple shade first, packing it with this precise very stiff brush, and still the eyeshadow didn't pack well. As you can see, it is kinda like powdery, and once I was applying it, it was like getting off my eyelids. But I tried to apply it with different brushes. If you can observe there, I have like literally changed 4 brushes to pack the colors. But now let's move on with the next shade, and I'm placing it with the flat brush like this. It takes like 2-3 swipes to get that opaque color. Then I'm blending these two shades before applying the rest. I'm like making sure there are no harsh edges. It did have hard time blending, I'll talk about that later. So next shade I use the last one, which is kind of bluish shade I'm applying, and this shade is same like that brown shade, but it's more worse than brown shade, I would say, because once I start blending it, it will disappear. It's nowhere on the eyelids, and it will not blend also. It has that streaky patchy lines. I'm like, it was like wrong decision to place it in the middle. But then I placed the pink shade, which is very smooth, very nice. So now once the color placement is done like the way I wanted, I'm gonna be using this fluffy blending brush to blend off the eyeshadows. So while I'm blending, you can literally see the third shade is disappearing, but rest of the three shades are okay. First shade is also like very okayish in blending. It's kind of patchy, the purple one, but the pink and the second dark pink is like very good in blending. So now I did reapply the shades and blended it nicely so that eyeshadows look put together. Then for some reason the first shade purple was not placing on my inner corner. Like you can see, it was not at all placing. I was like trying to apply it with precise pencil brush. It was not placing, I don't know for what, but then I just moved on with blending the eyeshadows. This was how it was looking, very chalky because of that blue, and there was like lot of fallout in this colored eyeshadows. And then once I've cleaned up, this is how my base looks. Now moving on, using this green shade for my lower lashes. This green shade is pretty good. It's not that popping green color, but it's like quite decent. And once I did blended it, I used the baby pink shade for my inner corner, and this shade sat well on my inner corner. As you can see, it gave that pop of color. Then going back with the green, I'm just connecting to my wing. Then finally I did reapply the shades one last time with my fingers this time and made sure I blend it nicely. I used this dabbing method to blend the shades. So yes, overall what I think about this Swiss Beauty Ultimate Shadow Palette in the shade 08 is they are powdery, chalky, very difficult to blend. You need to like build the eyeshadows to get that opaque color. Also they are not like very popping. It's like mixed opinion because neutral shades work pretty good, but the colored ones are hard to blend. They are like quite patchy, as I said. So overall I would give 6.5 out of 10 because their previous range were amazing. 1 2 3 4, if you haven't like tried those palettes, they are like really amazing, very good quality. They blended nicely, but these range I didn't like that much. So that is my honest opinion. With that being said, I'll wrap up this video. I really hope you guys liked this video and it was helpful. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel. See you all in my next video super soon. Thank you all so much for watching.